If you want to hear my final thoughts on the Ciaté Mini Many Month 2018 Advent Calendar, all the products I revealed throughout 2019, then stick around. Hi there, it's Hélène with another video, another recap video. I'm doing a lot of these at the beginning of 2020 because we have a lot to talk about the previous year's activities, right? Well, one of these activities, for me anyway, was revealing a couple of nail polishes from the Ciaté Mini Many Month 2018 edition, which I purchased late 2018 and started using in 2019. And if you'll recall, there were 24 boxes in this advent calendar to open up and reveal, and I really did enjoy stretching out the advent calendar to a full year, so much so that I did end up picking up the 2019 edition to reveal throughout 2020. And as a matter of fact, I've done my first video, which I will put right here. A lot of fun as far as having the anticipation of a new product once or twice a month. So yes, a lot of fun from that perspective. And regardless of your product of choice, I think that an advent calendar, changing the use of an advent calendar from the 24-25 days prior to Christmas to something that we reveal all year long, I think you get to spread the joy over a longer period of time and give each one of the products proper attention. And so that's how I feel like I was able to really make up my mind about the various products I'm going to show you right now. So I've got the 24 products right in front of me here, and I want to give you my impressions of each one, what I appreciated in the box and what I didn't appreciate. So let's first off go with a couple of products that I did not end up using. I did not end up using the decals, although I promised I would give them a try, and I guess that it's just not my thing. If there is one that would be my thing, I'll end up trying this one or the lightning bolt. But I found a lot of them kind of big and intimidating, and I mean, I've done temporary tattoos and that kind of thing, but for some reason I just was not drawn to these, and this was one of the, obviously the reveal products. And the other one I didn't use was this jelly oil, and I probably should. I'm just not big on nail treatment stuff, so I just haven't used it, so obviously I don't have an opinion on it. I tend to use hand moisturizer and oil, and I just haven't used this. And another product that is not specifically a nail lacquer is this Gelology Top Coat. I used it once, and compared to my other top coats, it's terrible. It did not work for me. So for me, I call it terrible because here it was, one of the 24 items, and I used it once and was not impressed. And I vowed to use it again, and I was so turned off by my first use of it that I just didn't go back to it. It didn't dry, and I ended up, if I remember correctly, after using this top coat, I ended up having to redo my manicure. So I have a hate for this product. I should really try to use it again, but if I'm going to test it out, I have to have a time where I don't need to use my hands for a period of time to really test it out, and that's not very often. So yeah, as it stands, unless I change my mind because I have better information, this was a product I just didn't want to use again. Guess I'm going from most disappointing to least disappointing. I was also disappointed with this full-size product. This product is very thick, and I need to get some thinner to put in here, and apparently what I used to do some thinning, which was kind of makeup remover, was probably not a good idea. Every time I use it, it bubbles on me. And it's supposed to be a top coat with, you know, shiny stars and whatnot. I'm going to keep trying to fix it and use it, but so far it's been a very disappointing product, especially since it was the full-size product of 2018. Okay, so next up, let's talk about some very neutral colors. There were 4 in the overall package this year, and I really enjoyed this one, Prima Ballerina. I wore it definitely more than once. Iced Frappé, I think I wore twice. I have Hoopla, which was probably my least favorite. It's kind of a brighter pinky peach, and Cookies and Cream, which I thought was just fine as well, kind of a beige color. I am okay with the fact that it was 4 very neutral light colors in the overall box, and I felt like the toppers that you'll see later on that came with the set made it possible to kind of amp up a very neutral kind of nail polish. I like the opacity of them, and one comment overall for the Ciaté minis, I think I can show you with this one, I tighten them up pretty good when I'm not using them, is that the size of the brush, and I should have mentioned it right off the hop, it is like a full-size brush, not in length but in width, and it makes applying nail polish a whole lot easier than regular minis, and I really appreciate that from it. One example of minis that I bought this past year that I regretted were the Deborah Lippmann minis, because most of them have that tiny dinky brush and it affects the application of nail polish, but it is not the case in the Ciaté nail polishes, and I really like that. Okay, now let's talk about some of the deeper mattes. I thought the color selection for the deeper mattes were pretty good. We had a couple of cool colors and a couple of brighter, warmer colors, and that was fine. I really liked Dangerous Affair. I ended up wearing quite a bit of this color in the fall, especially around Christmas time. I ended up wearing Raspberry Collins more than once as well. Really enjoyed that color. This one I wore once, Red Hot Chilies is all it's called. It's a very fiery fire engine red. And I had another red in my collection kind of competing with this one, so I wore it once. And then this one is Total Eclipse, and I really enjoyed this color. It's kind of a gray navy blue color, and it's a matte. It looks very nice on the nails, in my opinion. It's kind of like sort of an edgy color, but sort of not. So it works out nicely for pretty much any occasion. Now for a couple of colors that they're not quite neutral, but they're not quite super colorful, and they are these two. And this is Pepperminty, which is what I'm wearing on my nails right now. And I like this color as a nice light wash of color when you're in the mood for pastels. This is another relatively pastel color called Fly Away. And it had a very good match with some of the toppers. As a matter of fact, I really enjoyed having this topper on, come on, focus, on Pepperminty. I thought this was nice. This is the Kaleidoscope, I think, topper. So all in all, I was very happy with the colors. Not too many very neutral colors, not too many pastel-y colors, not too many deep colors. I thought that the array of colors was very reasonable for this set. And the fact that there were 2 very distinct reds being a color that tends to be popular in nail polish, I thought that was good. Now let's talk about the iridescent colors. There were quite a few, 3, 6, 8 iridescent colors in, I think this one we can also call iridescent colors. So 8 colors, that was quite a few, and I'm okay with it. Not everybody's necessarily going to be big on iridescent colors, so I thought I would mention it, but for me it was one of the neatest parts of this kit overall, and the second most exciting part of this whole kit. So I'll go right away with one of my favorites, which was Knee Highs. I think I wore this a handful of times, so it's probably the one I wore the most or thought about the most in this whole set. The first one that I revealed, I'm pretty sure it was the first one that was kind of iridescent, was Tempest. And I think that this is an absolutely beautiful nail color, and it doesn't show so much with the ring light, but it does flash hot pink and purple as well. This one I was super excited about, and it's Cyclone. It also has, it looks like an oil slick. And it's a beautiful iridescent shade. Really enjoyed this one. And this one, Purple Rain, was a beautiful single coat topper on other shades of nail polish. I think it was very, very flattering to wear as just an iridescent topper on a matte color that would be working well with it. So for example, this was a good pairing. Another one that I thought was okay, but I wasn't as excited about the color, was Golden Hour. I thought it was fine, but nothing to write home about. And another iridescent color that was okay was In the Clouds, kind of a nice light pink. And this one would be a nice topper, as Tempest was on a few other colors. Let me just show you. So these two would look quite nice together. This one as a topper on top. And frankly, these two would look great together as well. Final two, we have Paradise Lost, which I thought was nicer than Golden Hour. There's just more to it, and again, it doesn't show so much on the in the ring light, but it has kind of a rose to peach to gold iridescence, and it's a very, very pretty color. Golden Hour is just more flat than that. And then finally, this one, which I used as a topper mostly, most of all of the other ones, other iridescent ones, is Supernova. Really, really enjoyed this one as a final coat over pinks and blues and greenish colors. So out of everything I've shown you so far, those kind of iridescent nail polishes worked almost as transformers for other nail polishes with the one single coat on top. And I think that that just expanded the ability to create very different nail looks, and I appreciated the fact that there were so many included in the set this year. And now a set of two nail polishes that I really, really loved in this kit were these two. Antique Brooch, this one, and Kaleidoscope. And Kaleidoscope I have on my ring finger right now. They were fantastic. And what I loved about them is because one was cool and one was warm, you could pretty much pair these with any one of the colors, the other colors in the kit. And so I ended up creating some fantastic looks with Antique Brooch on either one or all of the fingers of the hand with another color underneath. And I really enjoyed Kaleidoscope because of the fact that it has purple and pink and gold and silver in it. It pretty much goes with everything else. I did appreciate that they were very, very different from each other. And so either one would be appropriate for any of the other colors in the kit. Now, out of everything I showed you, I only have a handful that I'm kind of going, meh. One of them is just a personal preference. Red Hot Chili, I ended up not liking it so much because of the nature of the red. Have I worn it? Yep, worn it more than once. Because there are two reds. I do like the fact that they're very different reds, as I mentioned before. But I'm just drawn to Dangerous Affair a whole lot more than this one, and I'll probably use this one up before I end up using this one. Plus, red is a type of color we tend to have in our collections, and it just didn't... I mean, I liked the color when I saw it, but practically speaking, I'm just not drawn to it as much. We talked about the decals. That, I think, is kind of funny as being one of the 24 products. It just seems kind of cheap to me. The fact that the full-size product didn't really work, that was a real bummer. And I got this early on in the year, and I was really disappointed. And I'm still thinking I'm going to find a way to fix it. And then finally, these two products, to be real, the Jelly Oil and the Top Coat, I would rather have another colorful or iridescent or topper nail polish than these two. Either not impressed or not interested in using them. And so out of the whole bunch, there were 4 or 5 products that I was not jazzed about. 4 if you count the full-size product, the decals, and the 2 like Jelly and Top Coat. And then 5 if you consider that Fire Engine red called red chili pepper. So that's 16 to 21% of the whole kit. And given the price of the kit for 24 products, I think that that's a decent amount where you're kind of going meh for an advent calendar, which are products you are not choosing yourself. So I would consider this a success. And if I'm looking at all of the products, they're all right in front of me, I would really say that for the most part, I am delighted with the colors that were included and happy to have colors in my collection that were a nice surprise to me that there's no way I probably would have purchased them on my own in the store. And it made me discover colors and finishes and ways of using different colors and finishes together that I never would have experienced without the advent calendar. And as you already may be aware, I have purchased the calendar for 2020, which would have been the 2019 Mini Mani Month edition. And I purchased it in big part because well past half the year, I knew that I was very satisfied with the Mini Mani Month, and that when it came available, the next year's advent calendar, that I felt like it was a good purchase. Now, it's probably going to be my last one because a girl only needs so much nail polish. At least for me, nail polish is not my top of mind thing. Eyeshadow is. That's where I spend most of my energy, is taking a look at those. But as far as someone who wants a reasonable size nail polish collection, I think that mini advent calendars are a great idea. So I don't regret the purchase, and I am hoping this review is giving you some information to decide if you would be interested in trying a nail polish advent calendar, and if you already do purchase those, that you can also compare the ones you've been purchasing to the Ciaté option. That's it from me. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate your time and attention. If you have experience with various advent calendars and you have some suggestions for us, please let us know in the comments. That's always very much appreciated. What do you think of this one? Do you love what, do you hate what you saw in the full reveal? Let me know that as well. And for now, I'll say thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it every single time. And I do look forward to seeing you in the next video. But for now, take care. Okay, so next up, let's talk about some very neutral,